Hello everyone, Andrew here with a new YouTube video. On this one I want to go over how I passed 600k in challenges within, I think it was 1 week, with a new platform that just launched, Funded Picks. So hopefully they're gonna be quite legit, they're gonna pay out, we're gonna have no issues. But I just want to give some tips on how to pass platform accounts in 2024 and how you can get funded very easily. Now for those who are following me, they may know that I use a high risk on challenge phase. I do that because I like to pass the challenge as fast as possible, so then I can just throw the funded account into my normal strategy where I make 1%, 2% a month, and then just focus on increasing capital basically. In the challenge, there's no issue, as you'll see when I'm gonna share my screen on Funded Picks. This specific platform, I did lose 3 challenges before passing my next 2. So I am down on the platform, on this specific platform, but with just less than 1% profit on the live accounts, on the funded accounts, it's gonna cover those fees and even profit. So that's how I play the long-term game when it comes to platforms. I invest some money up front to get funded capital, and then I use that to just keep stacking payouts until basically either I scale up the account or maybe I lose it after 3, 4, 5 months. I have a bad losing streak, then I can just go over again. So now I did have issues with this trading style where I just risk 3, 4, 5% even on the challenge phase, where I will just get funded and then the platform company will just deny me the fund account. They'll say that my risk is too high. But I do think those platforms are just a little bit scammy because they take up your fees up front basically, and then when you finally get funded, they deny it, they keep the fees, and then they just refund the accounts you passed, which is obviously very scammy. And I would rather just go for the more legit platforms that are in the space, which I have a list on my Telegram group. So if you go down in the description, you have the link to my free Telegram group. Join it and you'll see the actual platforms that I used to have $6.7 million in capital. All right, so let's go over on the dashboard. We have here, as you can see, I had purchased 2 accounts, 300k and 300k 2-step standard challenge. So again, standard challenge, which one phase 1, unfortunately I hit the daily drawdown. I got slipped on a position, so let's take a look on that. That I think you can also see the account history, so you can see the trades. So you see I hit the max daily drawdown, which again, transparency in first trade just happened. I got slipped, so let's go to account history, which again, when you trade platforms, you have all these different brokers, all these different options. You always have to account for slippage. You always have to account for basically the small manipulation that they have. So I had a GBP USD buy, 47 lots, so not 0.47, which it got closed a little bit over the daily drawdown. So my stop loss was around 14.5k, which you can see there was quite a big difference, but it just happens. And yeah, that was it. So then the next account that I had, so I purchased 2, and the second one I actually passed, which is quite funny because yeah, first one, even if I think it was the same trade. So you see I had a 88% win rate. I think it was just one big trade. It was passed basically immediately. So go to account history, and you can see I actually had multiple trades here. So first trade was also the GBP USD buy, the same that I had on the first account, which you can see was closed. I think I closed it, price probably came down to my stop loss, and on that account it wicked it. On this account it came back and I closed in a loss. And then I had a EURUSD buy, as you can see, got that loss back. And then I had, I don't know why it's showing like this, but yeah, I don't think it's updated correctly. But yeah, I had EURUSD buys, I had a gold sell, I had some more EURUSD buys. I think this is 6k, and then those were 10 lots. Yeah, so it doesn't show correctly, but this was 10k, this was open price, close price. You can see this was 7 pips. This was almost 50 pips on EURUSD, so 50 times 40. This should have been like 20k, and then I think I made some more quick profits. Yeah. So again, one trade is more than enough. I had this initial idea on GU buys, which didn't work out, and then same buy idea on USD pairs that got triggered, as you can see, next day. which went for 50 pips, which basically brought me very close, should be like 20k, so very close to the profit target. And then I took some more quick trades, as you can see here, and the gold sell here for 10. It shows, yeah, it doesn't show correctly, but it was just basically I had one big loss, and then one big win, and then I took some more quick trades to just pass it very fast. So that's my initial focus when I trade a prop firm challenge, is to get that very good high quality setup that brings me a good win rate. And then, as you can see, phase 2 accounts, I got another phase 1 here. So when I accidentally breached that one, I got another phase 1 account, which also got hit. I did manage to pass it as well. So if you go to account history, it was the same Euro USD trade that you can see here, was for like 50 something pips on 46.66 lots. So again, I risked that daily drawdown, went for a 1 to 2. The trade played out, 25 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit, target hit in one trade, and then I did 2 small trades just to get those trading days. So you see, it's the same thing. I usually read the rules when it doesn't say anything about, you know, lot size or risk. I just use this because it's way easier. While I focus on trading the actual funded accounts, I have the challenge accounts where I can just reach the daily drawdown and pass within one trade. And then the next phase 2 accounts were just a big fail, because I took 3 or 4 losses in a row. So it happens. Yeah, the maximum loss. This is just basically the trades kept running over the daily drawdown. It happens, as you can see, same ideas. I tried to long EU, didn't quite work out, closed. Gold also closed, and then I basically lost gold sells, and GU sells. So because we had a big push on EU, GU, and gold, I was expecting a retracement. I tried to sell the retracement. I didn't have patience, so it wasn't an A+ setup, but I just figured the target is way smaller. So again, it was my mistake, and unfortunately that happened. And yeah, it was quite annoying because the pullback just didn't come. It came actually a few days later, so my timing was all wrong. But again, it's just the fact that I'm trying to pass as fast as possible just to get the fund accounts, which sometimes can work in your favor, sometimes it cannot. And it all depends on, again, this was just one prop that I tried to get max funded with. I had so many payouts coming in, so I was willing to invest a little bit more to pass it as fast as possible, not really focus on it, which again, it depends on each one. And then next 2 accounts that I got, phase 1 again was passed quite fast, so you can see 75% win rate. Let's go to account history. Let's see what trade we had. I think we had sells also. So we see a few days later, sells did play out. I had a GU sell, 45 lots, went for 20 pips, closed that. Had gold sells at 2,190, so when gold really spiked up, I took sells, and they ran for 150 pips, 10 lots, and that was passed. 2 trades, and then that's it. So I think it was the same trade also here, or no, if I'm not mistaken, could have been a little bit different. Let's see. So same exact principle. I tried to go 1 to 2 on the trades. Yeah, GU and gold, GU sells, gold sells, played out perfectly for the retracement and passed that. And then here comes phase 2, which I just passed last week, which was it was a little bit difficult just because the market wasn't moving as much. And you can see I had multiple trades. So I had Euro USD sells. This was a big trade, 56 lots. Here I risked less, so I had a 10 pip stop loss, which was basically 2%. And I made, you can see, 10.5k, which is almost 2.5%. And I closed that, then I tried to sell again, didn't really work out. Here also, and then basically you see the risk got way smaller just because the target was not that big. And then I finally caught the GU sells. This was also 2% risk, 60 lots, 10 pip. Stop loss, 10 pip, take profit 1-to-1, and then that was it. And then on the next account, because these were not on the trade copier challenges, I don't usually trade on a trade copier, I just trade them individually. So the next phase 2 account was a bit difficult to pass. I had to do more trades. I had the same EU sell that I closed, but then you see I didn't take the same trade. So EU gold, small scalps, and then I took a loss on EU, took another win on GU. You see the win on GU was because the price was moving so fast, I didn't get the exact same entry, so I closed earlier, and then I had to take some more scalps, which you can see some GU 15 lots sales, try to hit that, take profit. So I trade basically everything that I see in order to pass the accounts, and as you can see I've managed to pass it. Took 3 tries, 3 losses, which I will get back if I make less than 1%. I think it's like 0.8% on the actual fund account, 600k. I get my refund for those 2 accounts. That 0.8% profit will pay out for the investment, and then I have the 600k accounts that I can trade for months and months and months. And with Funded Peaks, I will aim to hit their elite trading. So that is a long-term goal. I will trade high quality setups, throw it in a trade copier, and basically try to get as much as possible. So this is how I approach prop firms, how I approach them to go from 0 to $6.7 million in funded capital. It's just, I think it's the easiest way. Once you have some capital to invest, it's better to throw it around in multiple challenges, try to pass as many as possible, use those funded accounts to make 1%, 2% every single month, get the payouts, reinvest it into more challenges, get more funding, and basically grow your capital. Nowadays, I see a lot of prop firms that's banning people for this type of trading, which they call gambling. As long as in their rules it doesn't say you need to risk a certain percentage, you have a max lot size or something like that, it's just you deciding to risk a lot more on a trading setup to pass it. If you fail it, again, they take the fee, but if you pass, then they have to make a decision if they're gonna allow you or not. So nowadays, if someone tries to get into prop firms, I would just recommend going low risk on the challenge phase. So don't go 4%, 5% like I did. Just use 2%, maybe even 2.5, 3% on the trades. Aim for a 1 to 2 and then another 1 to 2, and then just try to get the highest quality setups. That's the thing with people. When they buy a challenge, they try to pass it as fast as possible, but they try to pass it as dumb as possible also, because they don't wait for the high quality setup to form. They just enter every single trade. Maybe they start with 0.5%, then they lose 1 2 trades, and they get 1%, 2%, and they overtrade and they end up losing the accounts in 2 days. So you'd rather just risk 4% on one high quality setup, a bigger stop loss, as you saw, 25 pips, and aim for the bigger move, catch that, and then pass the accounts, which is way easier. And then funded accounts, just aim for 1% every single payout. That's more than enough, and keep growing your capital.
Alright guys, so just wanted to update to finish off this video. I just got back to my office back in Romania, so I will be recording this very quickly. After, you know, passing phase 1, phase 2 on Funded Peaks, I just wanted to make that video as a whole to explain exactly how I approach a prop firm when I want to get funded with them. So you've seen the process. Lost 3 accounts, passed the next 2, got funded. So I'm down, I think I was down like 3k, something like that. 5k with the last 2 past accounts, and I've said that I just need to make less than 1% on the funded accounts to basically recover all my investment and even have profits, and then use the funded accounts for the next, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months, a year to just make profits. That's how I approach prop firms, and I get them into my portfolio. So you can see I got the funded accounts, 300k funded, 300k funded. I will just hide the account numbers because they are obviously funded accounts, so lots of people will see this video, so there's no point in showing that. But you see my balance is $311.799 on one, and then 11.2k on the other one. So I made almost, what's that, 4%? Yeah, almost 4% on both accounts, so 600k. That's way more than my anticipated target. First I just made 1%. So the accounts were sitting at 3.5k each, but then I've just seen a good setup, so I took it to further make more profits. So I went a little bit more aggressive because I've seen a good setup that I could have taken. So let's just go to one account. Obviously you see the trades are the same. So it's a funded started trading. This is not the actual trade. I've seen they changed the dashboards, first time I see it. But if I go down, you see I traded EU, GU and gold. Average win 2k. I don't know if that's really whatever. Best trades, worst trades. I had 10 trades. I had a 80% win rate and my risk reward was 1 to 1.16. 116. So it wasn't a big risk reward. It was just some, basically first trade I risked around 1%, made 1%, and then the second one I risked around 2%, almost 3% on the same setup but different pairs. So first trade, let's just go to open day. It was on 19th of March. So after recording the first part of the video, you see my first trade was EU buy, which was a 1% loss. It didn't work out. And then same day, actually later down in New Year session, I had a GU buy that netted me 0.5%. then I had an EU buy. So these were all taken in New Year session. This was a bit later on. I think this is Dubai time. So here is the a buy later on in the session that brought me 0.88%. then another GU buy same day a bit later on. So these were some little scalps because the market dropped and then it kind of had a retracement, so I executed the trades. GU buy, which brought me 0.42%. So all these trades were around 1% risk, but I did cut them earlier. I think it was 1% or maybe 0.5%. But all are basically 1-to-1 or less, which does, you know, again, the same thing that I've been saying. I've been preaching in all my videos. This is what I do, and you can see exactly here that this is what I actually do, and it does work, right? Even if I have a risk reward of 1 to 116, which is not that good, but my win percentage was 80%, I just made 4% profit. So that's gonna be $22,000 in payouts. But yeah, then I had a gold buy also, which again I had 6 slots, 6.46 slots, I think, something like that, and went for basically 20 pips, so nothing big. It was 6 slots. I'm not sure if this is accurate, maybe I don't remember, but yeah, this was a quicker trade. Not sure, I don't think it shows, because you remember on the old dashboard it wasn't really showing that good, but let's just focus on the profits. So 0.5%, I will just show you on my phone actually. Then I tried another EU buy which closed at around break even, and then I had another EU buy. This was 2 days later, so on the 21st, New Year session, which bought me, this was also break even. So then I had the dollar bullish, and I had EU and gold sell setups, which I took. And you can see I had EU sells here, 15 lots, went for like 20 pips, so brought me 1% return. Then I had a gold sell, also brought me, again, it was, you know, this was a bigger trade actually. 2 lots brought me 3.3k, so 1%. And then I had another EU sell, same setup as these 15 lots, which was 5 lots, which I just ended up letting it run. So the total was around, you know, 11.8k. And let's go to the other account, which is basically the same trades. Let's look at the stats. Win percentage 8%, risk reward basically the same exact trades. Open date, EU buy loss, EU buy, EU buy, GU buy, scalps, and then the EU and gold sells, which basically brought the same thing. So that's what I did with my accounts. I don't know why it doesn't show. I think I need to do the minimum trading days, check out when my payout date is, which should be at the end of the month. Since I only have 2 days, so because they changed their whatever, doesn't really matter. But the point of this video is that you need to focus on passing the accounts, and that's it. And then obviously just trade the accounts, make some profits, and yeah, it's not that hard, guys. It's just everything that I have been saying works. You see, so it's let's say $22,000 in profits on the accounts. So it's gonna be 22,000 minus 20% or 80% of 22k. It's gonna be 17.6k. That's gonna be my payout split plus the refunds. So I'm not sure how much I paid. Let's just say plus $2,000. That's gonna be 19.6k. Profit minus the 3 lost accounts, so let's say $4,000, right? So I will be netting a profit of 15.6k basically in 1 month from 2 funded accounts, just by playing my system, you know, being aggressive on the challenges, passed it in 5 tries, then used my normal system to trade the fund accounts, made almost 4% return on both of them, waiting for profit split, refund, already up 15k, which is basically a lot of money, right? Just from 1 month of work, and then next payout cycle, next payout, next payout, next payout, and it will grow over time. So let's just show you the MetaTrader 5 account also, just so you know it's not anything. You see the 11 point, not sure it can be seen. It doesn't work, but doesn't really matter. So this is the account. Not sure it can be seen, but it's just all the trades that I took. Maybe you can just pause the video, try to zoom in. It's just the webcam that I'm using right now. So I had EU loss, GU buys, EU buys, GU buys, profits, 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 and then I had the EU 20 lots buy, which was my biggest position, almost my biggest position, which was a very small loss, so it was 0.5%, and then I had the EU sells, which netted me almost 3% with the gold sells. So that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me guys know if you want me to do more breakdowns of this type, but this is a lot of value and it just shows you a lot more transparency. Again, I'm not affiliated with them. They did give me an affiliation link just because I told them I know their CEO, so I just chatted with them. I was like, what's the biggest payout, whatever. I'm making this video, you know, just because it was a fun thing to do. It was a legit platform that I knew I could trust, so I just wanted to do the whole process. And yeah, if you guys want to maybe get their challenge, I will just have my link at the bottom of the description. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.